Jackson Morrill winning a national championship with Yale in 2018. His teammate on that team, Lucas Kotler, lefty midfielder, also transferred to Denver. So we'll see a lot of those two players along with the usual suspects, Jack Hanna, Ethan Walker, and Alex Stathakis at the faceoff dot. Had so much success last year. And this year with the new face-off rules, we're going to have to keep an eye on how some of these stalwarts who've had so much success here over the last couple of years using the moto grip at this level can do now with the new rules. Zach Tucci taking the draw for North Carolina, and Duke wins, and they get first possession of the day. Of note for Duke here, early cue is that Silstrop, one of their top players, is out, and so Skylar Blair is going to fill in for him at that attack spot.
Pioneers coming off a 12-10 loss on Friday. Got off to a great start against Duke and Durham. Ran out of gas in the second half.
And a goaler.
This is big. Jack Hanna comes into this game as one of the most highly touted midfielders in the country. Had a great year a year ago. So far this year has been cold shooting, only 2 of 22. He was nearly silent on Friday. Left to right, alley dodge down the lane, sidearm to three-quarter hand release. Good news for the Pios. They're on the board first. Expect a strong start, Chris, from Denver, because this is their third game of the season. They opened up against Utah. Again, they had that game Friday. Meanwhile, Carolina playing in their initial contest.
First face-off violation of the day going to go against North Carolina, so Denver with possession. Hanna with his third goal of the year. All-American midfielder.
Stathakis, the face-off man for Denver. Slow start against Utah, man. He dominated on Friday at Duke and off to a great start today.
Collar had an open look, decided to pass it up. Back over to Hanna. Behind the cage to Ethan Walker. Quick feed in front. That time it wasn't able to be buried by Jackson Morrill, although Denver retains possession. Walker and Morrill now two-man game behind the cage. Double comes. Skip pass over the top. Good look by Sullivan, and a save by Colin Krieg. Freshman goaltender getting the start for North Carolina. We'll keep an eye on the lefty, number 39, Colin Krieg, out of Stony Brook, New York.
Yeah, Ward Melville High School. He was getting first-team reps so far in January and February. Caton Johnson had some issues in terms of quarantine, so a nice stop by Krieg. I love the offense by Denver. They draw the double team on the near side, skip the defense. They got numbers on the far side. Everything about that play was perfection except the shot location.
Our first look at North Carolina offensively. William Perry, Tanner Cook, Justin Anderson, a veteran midfield line, all coming back from last year. And of course, you know about this attack unit as well. Gray, Cameron, Solomon, been together for a while. And a good look right in front, and Tanner Cook buries it.
They got the band, Cotter. Fire up the band and Keenan. This first midfield takes a backseat to nobody. With William Perry, Justin Anderson, and Tanner Cook, you've got proven veteran players. Cook, 20 goals in 7 games last season, shooting 51% from the midfield. A lefty from the Hill School in Canada. He is king of the step down, and he is king of finishing on the inside. Such a big target.
Absolutely nothing that Jack Thompson could do about that. Point blank for Tanner Cook, and we are knotted up at 1 apiece. So much with this new face-off rule on ground balls and how the wing play is going to be in picking up and gaining possession for your team. That time North Carolina doing a better job picking up the loose ball and the heels with another opportunity.
Joe Bresci, head coach of North Carolina, told us he likes the new rules. He thinks it's going to be more of a 3 scrap amongst the athletic wingers. He's got guys that fit that job description.
Thompson's career numbers. Denver went through a ton of goaltenders last year. They had 3 starters, 5 players playing in net in total in a shortened season, and then they've settled on Thompson. He'll get an opportunity here, but he gets beat. Connor McCarthy, you talk about transfers, Q. Here's one who played with Michael Sowers at Princeton and enjoyed a lot of success, turning those feeds into 13 goals last year, picks up his first as a member of the Tar Heels.
He's got his degree from Princeton. Why not take that extra year in the ACC? 6'4", right-handed shooter, running downhill in Kenan Stadium. And he gets a big smile, pat on the forehead from head coach Joe Bresci, and immediately, you want to win over your teammates? You want to win over your new locker room? You score on your first shift. Just look at the reaction he's getting on the sideline. That is a wonderful, wonderful start for Connor McCarthy.
Stathakis giving chase along with Tucci. Possession initially to North Carolina, loose in front, and the Heels will look to clear.
It's a good grounder by 20, Matt Wright. Now a sophomore out of Calgary. He caught my eye last year. He's an animal. He's got great tenacity. He runs well on the wings of faceoffs. 20 in white today. Will be a main helper on the faceoffs.
Got a good look at Will Bowen carrying the ball into the offensive zone. Another one of those close defenders who was injured when he first got to North Carolina, played a little bit last year, but not 100% in their 7 games. And now really the first opportunity to see the highest rated defender in that class of 2018 at 100% for UNC.
Zone for Denver.
And a goal for North Carolina. Nicky Solomon gets on the score sheet.
Heels can't miss. An abundance of weapons. They led the country last year in assists. Solomon, front swing right-handed. Defense just not quite as tight as it needs to be. This is a group last year. They were number 2 in the country in scoring margin. As you look at Joe Bresci, longtime coach for the Heels. He played a great defender here in the late 80s, early 90s, played for Team USA. He's really the builder of the Ohio State lacrosse program as well. But, I mean, this is an offensive franchise this season. They were number 4 last year in scoring offense. Everybody's back. I expect them to be even better. Good luck trying to stop the Tar Heels.
Andrew Tyre now taking the draw for North Carolina. We expected to see this. And possession to Denver.
Carolina likes to press on their ride. A little full court heat they like to bring. Very similar to what we saw yesterday from Virginia. And there it is.
Causing the turnover at midfield. Now North Carolina will look to move quickly. And a score. So quickly, he couldn't even follow the action. Nicky Solomon back at it.
Hey, Virginia Cavaliers. Hey, Lars Tiffany, you're not the only team in the ACC that wants to ride. Look at the trap. Bring it over the midline. You pinch double team. You come up with the ball, and then in transition, you've got numbers. And that's going to trigger a timeout from the Denver Pioneers and head coach Bill Tierney. The power of the ride. Carolina now feeling it at home.
New goalie in Denver, Cole French, the veteran, now replacing Jack Thompson. And here we go again, Q.
Yeah, well, you know, musical goalies. Denver's got 7 on the roster. Quite honestly, I pinned none of those goals on Jack Thompson. I mean, are you kidding me? I mean, it's just one of those things where sometimes the coach feels like, you know what, we need a change. We call on timeout. Let's give Cole a chance. Thompson, I thought, played well early against Duke in the first quarter. Made 4 saves in the first quarter. He only finished that game with 7 saves. So it's not like he enters this game with great momentum. And I think this is a little bit of a carryover from what Coach Tierney saw on Friday. That's why the quick hook.
Now we're going to get a shot here. And a quick score. French is tested once again. And North Carolina is firing on all cylinders, and they're finding the back of the net. Nicky Solomon, another goal. So that's his second of the day as Chris Gray scored just before we went to break. But everybody getting involved for the Heels.
Tyre picks up the assist. He's still on the field from the face-off. Finds the point man. And from about 11 or 12 yards, it's just a side-armed ripper. French is kind of on it. Look at, he's down on it. You've got to get down on it. Solomon's off to a big start, man. He had a great, what do you have, 31 points last year. He's got instantaneous chemistry with Chris Gray. He's from down your neck of the woods, Cotter. He's a Georgia kid.
Alpharetta, Georgia, northern suburb of Atlanta. A lot of good lacrosse played in the northern suburbs. Now just a consistent pipeline to Division I, and Nicky's one of those players. His brother Nate played at Syracuse. Carolina 5-1 here, early going.
5 goals in 5 minutes in their opener against a team playing their third game. This is impressive. The ACC, I can't say it enough. The ACC is stacked. It's loaded. These games are going to be lit and jacked. This is unbelievable. The talent level at Virginia that we saw yesterday, the talent we saw from Duke, what you're seeing right now from the Tar Heels, I've never seen anything like it.
You know what Syracuse is bringing back. You know how good Notre Dame is, especially on the defensive side. Going to be a fun season. Duke with a big win yesterday and a big shot here from the newcomer Connor McCarthy. Friday, I should say, with Duke. Virginia got the big win yesterday. Chris Gray now running from X. Got his defender hung up on the other side of French. Quick shot behind the back from Nicky Solomon, and eventually ends up in French's cross. Here comes Denver with the clear.
Important possession for the Pios now. You got to settle down. Find Jackson Morrill, 32. Get a look from Ethan Walker or Jack Hanna or maybe Lucas Kotler. It's where your veterans have to understand clock and score, and that this game has kind of gotten away from them.
Here's Kotler. Transfer from Yale. Sullivan now behind the cage. Up top to Hanna. Skylar Blair. Kotler. Look to work to his left. Got a shorty on him. He'll take a shot. Deflected off of Colin Krieg. Out of bounds. It'll stay with Denver.
Either a pipe or a save. It should be a reset. You get the reset of the shot clock, but it doesn't matter. There's a flag down anyway. There's Krieg, lefty. As you said, Ward Melville. I mean, you talk about a program that has been on the map for decades and decades. Joe Cuso started it out in Suffolk County. Krieg comes on. You expect him to be the backup to Caton Johnson, but with COVID issues and performance, like, again, nothing's gifted this year, Chris. You got to earn PT.
McCarthy called for the push, so extra man opportunity for Denver. Denver 1 for 6 in their last game with man up. Big shot wide of the mark, taken by Reed Babcock. And there's Krieg with a hustle play, getting possession back to his North Carolina teammates.
I watched his high school highlights from Ward Melville. First note was, I look at him, he was listed at 5'11". He's not 5'11", he's 5'9", but he moves really well. I liked his balance. I liked his athleticism. You just saw it out there, his ability to get off his line and chase a shot down.
Nothing wrong with saying you're 5'11" if you're 5'9", in my book.
Hey, look, I said I was 5'9", and believed it for a while. But
your lie was 5'9", right, okay.
Correct, but of all the positions, if you're going to lie about your height, you stand in a goal that's 6 foot tall. You're standing against the ruler every single day. You can't lie if you're a goalie.
You played in the bucket helmet days, so you got a couple extra inches on top.
I did, and I had longer hair back then. I had the mullet going.
Denver in a little bit of a drought here, trying to break it. Cannot. Krieg is there again, stopping at the doorstep.
Doing his part. Strong angle play. Walker tried to beat him pipe side. It's a nice look by Carolina. One of the benefits to running a 10-man ride, Chris, is you practice against it all the time. You practice against that pressure.
Carolina's getting great looks. Another one buried for a goal, and they're making it look easy.
Brian Cameron, the lefty, junior now out of New Hampshire. He had 10 last season in 7 games. Little down screen, early offense. Okay, Carolina, they want to run. That's phase 1. Phase 2 is early offense during the substitution game. When you're not fully stacked offensively, you might only have 4 or 5 players, but you're testing and challenging the defense. That down screen leads to the left-handed dodge top side, and he gets to pay dirt. Brian Cameron.
Tucci back at the dot against Stathakis. Heels gain possession, but they're in trouble at the sideline. Now we'll get a whistle. Timeout called by Joe Bresci in North Carolina. Successful start here, Q. 6-1, and you saw in that graphic just before the timeout, 5 different players have scored.
And they've scored in different ways. They've scored in the settle, they've scored off the ride, they've scored with early offense. And that's going to be, you see Dave Metzbauer, their offensive coordinator. This is what happened last year. Chris Gray transfers from BU. It was a big deal. And suddenly, their offense was just unbelievably good. 7-0. Yeah, they were kind of untested. They beat Denver and Hopkins. They were scheduled to play Georgetown the following week when the season got shut down. I thought they were defensively very much a work in progress, but the offensive numbers are just off the page, Chris. I mean, that extra man percentage last year, were they 17 of 22? Just and gorgeous passing goals.
Very efficient as they've started 2021, shooting 6 of 8 to start this game. And Q, I think, you look at them the last couple of years, you thought, okay, Metzi's got this offense going in the right direction. They're going to score 1 million goals. Can they stop anybody? Are they shored up enough on the back end to be a championship weekend team? And you thought, well, you had Kate Johnson in goal. He's still dealing with COVID protocols right now, so not quite yet in shape as far as being a starter goes. Coach Bresci said, look, I feel like I've got another guy in Colin Krieg, and so far what we've seen has been good, but the back end is where the questions need to be answered, isn't it?
I think they're better in the back end, don't you? I mean, Will Bowen is going to be an all-American caliber defender, big number 24. Cam Macri, he's going to play some roles, but the key, Evan Egan last year got hurt prior to the season. That was a big loss. Evan Egan is a talented, he can play close, he can play pole. I think their young poles, whether it's a Sean Morris or Matt Wright, will be improved this year. And then their shorties, Alex Bresci, Connor Marr, Zach Young, Parker Alexander. They got playing time last year. They were all first-year guys. I think across the board, Carolina will be better defensively and defensive midfield. A little zone defense from the Denver Pioneers.
Bad turnover, getting the ball back to Denver out of a timeout. It's not exactly how Metzi and Joe Bresci drew that one up.
So what kind of ride they bring right now? What kind of pressure? We've seen 3 down attackmen. Triple team.
Right, just harassing the Pios, and it forces yet another turnover. That's the second time we've seen that, and looking for quick offense on the other end. Great, wow. He's not going to miss from there.
Those goals go a long way. Joe Bresci wants to be an aggressive riding team. You got a triple team of a very talented midfielder, Jack Hanna. They pinch him, get the ball on the carpet, eyes are up. Got a numbers game, turn and rake. That becomes your identity, Chris, because you've had success now twice. All the work you do in practice is paying off on game day. You see it, and that becomes part of your arsenal. Like relying on half-field goals to score 12 or 15 games is so much, but the ride, that's who you become. That's your DNA.
How about that little dead foot just to freeze Adam Hangland for that split second, and Gray blew right by him.
Equates to a slot back trying to be covered by a corner on 3rd and 5. That option route where he plants and goes. That zigzag. Good luck covering Chris Gray in space. That's
like a slot back being covered by a linebacker. Here's how I got this mismatch here. 1-on-1. 7-1. Carolina on top. Gray now again from X with his defender hung up. Decides to move it up top. Limited attendance inside Keenan, so you might be able to hear the head coaches. I thought we could hear a little bit of Tierney there in the background, fired up and trying to get his troops fired up here to turn this game around.
Carolina.
Gray up top. That time is a nice save by French.
Nice foot movement. He steps to that ball. He's aggressive on his line. Cole French, the righty. 6 career starts. This is nothing new to him.
This game starting exactly the opposite of how Denver's last game 2 days ago, I should say, against Duke started. They had a 5-1 lead in that game. Playing against a team in their opener against the Blue Devils. In this game, it's been all Carolina in their opener, and this is Denver's 3rd game of the year. Quick ball movement. Shot wide of the target, that time by Ethan Walker, who's been sniping corners already this year in his first 2 games. Morrill brings it upfield. Here's Walker trying to work down the alley. Morrill's, no, he had a look. He brings it back to his right to Walker behind the cage. 15 to shoot for Denver. Dwinell.
Who can beat their man and draw the double?
Tried to get it to Blair, but puts it on the carpet. Here come the Tar Heels.
That was defense. That was D.
Big shot. French is there. Ball deflects all the way close to the midfield line, but North Carolina is able to track it down and retain possession. Cutter in the middle, wide of the target. Gray is there to back it up.
They want to play no huddle. Don't they want to play no huddle, Chris? You know, it's not like they're going to sit around, passing around and sub. This is constant. They're up at the line of scrimmage, and if you're not ready, they're coming at you. Like, they're not giving you time to rest or set up defensively.
And
Whether
I feel
it's
like
the ride or transition. This is no huddle lacrosse.
It's not willy-nilly either, Q. I think they're not just taking shots, they're taking really good shots, quality shots. French is there to stop Gray on that shot, but they're just peppering him, and good high-quality shots.
It's an aggressive mindset. Absolutely. I mean, the green light is always on.
13 shots taken here in this first quarter for North Carolina, and we still have just under 3 minutes to play.
More zone defense from Denver.
Lance Tillman in the game, number 0 for North Carolina at top. Good look from a tough angle, just sails wide of the target.
Carolina should have an excellent zone offense this year. Typically teams who have strong extra man formations can handle the zone.
McCarthy now inverted. Up to Jacob Kelly. Chris Gray from up top. Gets by his man, decides not to take the shot behind the cage. Now goal line extended comes up with Brian Cameron. He's got his defender hung. Gray will get a good look. French is there. He's been pretty good since coming in. Oh, Gray behind the back, out of nowhere. Picks up the loose ball right in front of the
his all. Great save, rebound control, the scrap. Watch 4 and white. The instincts to crash the crease. Rebounds are a big part of lacrosse. A lot of different ways that Chris Gray can make his impact on a game. As I said, 7 points a game last season. We'd be talking about him if it wasn't for Michael Sowers and the 8 or 9 points he put up a game last year at Princeton. But Gray may be the guy. Those two can go head-to-head all season, Chris.
Hat trick for Gray already. 3 goals on 5 shots here in this first quarter. Tucci and Stathakis. And we'll get a whistle on the scrum, and it's going to go against Tucci and Denver ball. That's as much of a scrum as we'll see with the new face-off rules. Morrow now looking to quickly start something. Blair, he scores. With Silstrup out, Blair is going to have to carry a heavier load, and he pays dividends here early.
This is an example of a bad double team, creating offense for your opponent. Watch 16 in white. If you let this roll. Watch 16 in white right here. Bowen's doing a great job on Walker. Why are you going there? Why are you double teaming? And all of a sudden, the defense, and then he comes back across the front of the cage. Just creating offense for Denver. Will Bowen had Ethan Walker exactly where he wanted him, pushing him behind the net. And for some reason, Sean Morris there double teams or slides to him. That's a classic example of creating offense for your opponent.
There's Bill Tierney, legendary head coach at Denver. Won the Natty in 2015, of course, had so many great years at Princeton. Now flags fly all over the place on the face-off. Tyre was taking that one for North Carolina.
White 15. 30 seconds.
Third face-off violation against North Carolina as a team. So now we had for the rest of this half now, Q, that's a little over a quarter. Any face-off violation, North Carolina is going to have to serve a 30-second penalty.
Yeah, and it's scary to think how good Alec Stathakis is and his backup, Brett Bowes. T.D. Erlin of Yale potentially transferring to Denver later in the season. Scary to think how good they're going to be in that department later on in the year.
Erlin from Yale, All-American, putting his name in the transfer portal. He's indicated that he'd like to go to Denver. Could be eligible by late March if that does indeed play itself out. The Ivy League is in such flux right now. So much talent in that league. Now at full strength. Hanna just working his way to the goal off the pipe. New shot clock, it'll stay with Denver. With 80 seconds to shoot, the Pios now can hold for the last shot if they so choose here in this first quarter, down 8-2. Here's Hanna working on the short stick. Slide comes, now back behind the cage. Morrow will look to work from X. Left-handed shot from Walker goes wide. It stays with Denver.
Good look. Great grab by Walker.
Hanna just handcuffs Morrow, and it ends up being a turnover. So now North Carolina has 37 seconds.
Understand the clock and score right now if you're the Tar Heels. 20 to clear.
Heels do that, although now they're trying to work with the ball in Long Pole's hands, and Mack originally couldn't handle it.
Sparrow plays that ball without a stick in his hands, and it's a stoppage that'll award this ball to Carolina. Carolina's attack's got to be more aggressive there as their poles are getting mauled up by the midfield line. You got a front swing.
Anderson will get a look, and he scores! The veteran of this North Carolina midfield unit, and that's saying something. Picks up a goal to add to the 15 he scored last year, his first on the year, and Justin Anderson now finds the back of the net.
25-year-old captain from Las Vegas, married, expecting his wife is Priscilla, co-captain. He worked this fall. He wasn't on campus. Carolina having their fall ball kind of pushed out of September, more in October and November. But this guy's done it for a long time. 57% shooter a year ago, 2020. He's a man.
Big final minute for North Carolina. Face-off violation against Stathakis. Can they get one final opportunity with 5 seconds? Tried to find Cameron in front. Pass goes wide, and it'll be Denver ball with less than a second to play, and this is how we'll end the first quarter. 9-2 after one inside Keenan. Denver playing their third game and second in 3 days, facing a Carolina team opening up their season on fire. Heels up 7 after one. Heels up 9-2 early after one in Keenan Stadium in Q. Everybody seemingly getting involved for the Heels.
It's a buffet, a breakfast buffet for Connor McCarthy, Tanner Cook, Nikki Solomon, Chris Gray. Here's Andrew Tyre getting an assist. They've scored in settled situations. They've scored off the ride. They've scored off of a rebound. Chris Gray's got 3. Nikki Solomon's got 2. Everybody's eating at the breakfast buffet.
Breakfast, I like that. Our early 11 a.m. Eastern time start time. And you see what Chris Gray did last year. North Carolina in 2019 missing the NCAAs. 2020, Chris Gray transfers in from BU in his first year in Chapel Hill. Completely different story.
His ability to find chemistry immediately and to gel. Carolina has always had a lot of good functional parts. They were missing something. It was like a patchwork quilt that the patches weren't really sewn together well. Well, he's the stitcher. He's the guy who has put all these patchwork pieces together. Whether it's Cameron, Solomon, the first midfield, the extra man. And with him in the lineup, everyone's just better. Everyone's better. And there's no egos about it. Like, they flow. There's rhythm. There's chemistry. There's continuity. It just looks right.
Carolina with 9 goals on 17 shots in that first quarter. Heels have as many goals as Duke has shots, 9 apiece. Denver now trying to change that. We saw during the break, Q, that this man right here, 19, Danny Logan, as Walker fires, misses, but Logan was firing up the troops in between quarters.
Danny Logan got into the middle of the huddle. Bill Tierney was off to the side. Matt Brown off to the side. And it was Logan going after his teammates. There's a standard in Denver. There's expectations. There's accountability. There's a standard of Denver Pioneer lacrosse. You didn't see it in the first quarter. And I think the veteran stepped up, and he is trying to lead right now.
Pass deflected, but the Pios keeping it in the offensive zone. Now a little unsettled situation here for Marl. Sullivan. Kotler, boy, had a notion with the left. Now Hannah thought about it too. And now it gets away from Kotler. Here come the Heels.
Bowen.
Goal! Yet another Tar Heel finding the back of the net. This time it's Jacob Kelly spreading the wealth all over the field.
That was a gorgeous-looking possession from Denver. Wasn't it, Chris? They were getting ball movement. They were an inch away from getting a look. Next thing you know, the ball's on the carpet, and here comes Will Bowen. The big Bostonian rumbling downhill. Is that a no-look
to
the back door? You got to put the lock in the back door, Cotter. Bowen with the no-look. Come on, man. You can't be doing that. Jacob Kelly. And there's Big Will.
He had his injury issues. Top-rated defenseman coming in the class of 2018. Sat out 2019 with the knee injury. Played the 7 games last year for North Carolina, and Joe Bresci said he still wasn't 100%. Now he's 100%, and he's such a good student, Q. He's going to transfer to Georgetown and get a graduate degree. He's going to graduate from North Carolina this spring, transfer to Georgetown, finish up his career with the Swamp Dogs, and then he's going to go to another Ivy League school. He's got it all mapped out for another graduate degree to get an
plan.
MBA. Huh.
I wish I had a plan. So Georgetown, Kevin Warren, and the Swamp Dogs, as you said it, they're going to have a nice little defense next year. Harvard or Penn maybe down the road for an MBA. This kid's so impressive. He took a lot of credits to North Carolina, a lot of AP credits. But, and he was a direct admit to the business school at Carolina. If they had his major in terms of a graduate degree, he would stay. But Georgetown fits that description.
Joe Bresci, nothing but.
He's a classic example of a lax bro, I guess, right, Chris? Like a 4.0 student who's got his life mapped out. There's the reality,
Completely
and then there's the perception. Will Bowen, great athlete, great student.
And Bresci had nothing but great things to say as a great look by Alex Trippi goes wide about Will Bowen. And what a fantastic young man this guy is and how he's got everything together. And North Carolina has everything together this morning. Gray. Trying to probe to his right. Can't, but gets a good look. Oof. And William Perry sends it into the back of the onion bag. Everybody for North Carolina is scoring this afternoon.
Righty rip. Zone. Gray steps into the seam, draws two. Kicks it adjacent. The slide or defensive rotation from 41 is a tad late. That allows Perry to set his feet at about 11 or 12 yards. Stretch shooter, velocity, placement. Everybody just doing their 1/6 of the equation.
Perry, the senior from Greenwich, Connecticut, opting to come back for another year at North Carolina. Bresci calls him his best shooter out of that midfield group. He showed why there. 11-2, North Carolina.
You know the comp on William Perry, Cotter? The comparison? Our own Paul Carcaterra. That was his role. That was Cark right there on the corner, taking a feed from Casey Powell, setting his feet and ripping it from mid to extended range. Playing off others.
Creed didn't see it initially, made the save. Now gets chased behind the goal.
Great check. 22 in white. Evan Egan.
Loose ball violation going against Denver, so North Carolina again regaining possession. And Alex Bresci, Coach Bresci's nephew, with the one-man clear. And here we go again, another extended offensive possession for the Heels with a 9-goal lead.
Great defense by Carolina. That's what stood out to me about Virginia yesterday. Obviously the newcomers, Schellenberger, Charlie Bertrand.
Cormier as well.
But the D looked better. The D looked much better. Today, same thing with Carolina. The offense is going to get the headlines. You'll read about this offense tomorrow at Inside Lacrosse or U.S. Lacrosse Magazine. But the D looks much better, doesn't it?
They do look much better put together. Carolina's only had 2 turnovers on the day, and they're forcing Denver into a lot of mistakes. Gray loses his footing. I thought we were going to see something crazy there. Gets it back, now settles. Goal line extended, looking for the skip pass. Still 20 seconds to shoot for North Carolina. Quickly in front of the goal. That time it was Ryan O'Connell. Again, let me reiterate here, Q. Every single North Carolina Tar Heel, I think, is going to score a goal today.
If you're a high school coach, clip this one and show your squad. Zone offense. Draw 2, kick it down to the wing, keep it moving. Flash the spaces or the bubbles of the defense. 17 positions himself equidistant between 2 defenders. Who got him? I don't know. You got him, I got him. Who got him? Nobody got him. Turn and rake. Great zone offense. Ryan O'Connell. Welcome to the buffet.
O'Connell, one of those midfielders that is so versatile for Coach Bresci. Sometimes you'll see him as a short stick defensive midfielder. You'll see Justin Anderson playing that role. You might even see Cole Herbert, one of the celebrated freshmen on this team, playing as a two-way forward. Now 9 different Tar Heels scoring these 12 goals. And on the wing, picking up the loose ball. Loses it initially, but the Heels now get it back. And will look to move quickly in front. Chris Gray just whistles it wide. Ball movement has been impressive with the Heels today as well. Their last 4 goals all been assisted. Perry now back to his left. Gray up top. Behind the cage. That might have been an ill-advised pass. It'll go the other way.
Here comes the pressure.
They forced Denver to 2 costly turnovers using that pressure. They scored on both of those occasions. This time the Pios clear in time, but Blair's in a little bit of trouble near midfield. Now we'll get a flag. This one's going to be looks like it's going to be a push in the back against North Carolina. Or will it be? I should hold my tongue until I find out for sure.
White, 3, push, 30 seconds. White, 3, push, 30 seconds.
Get a push on William Perry here. 30-second man-up advantage now for Denver.
It's a better clear by Denver. They're spacing. They stayed relative, and they came back to the ball. But there you see the press right over the midfield line. Triple team, clear violation, penalty. You've got to process. You've got to get the ball, have a plan, circle away from pressure, look opposite field if you're clearing against a 10-man, and look to the deep diagonal. But things happen fast when you're playing Carolina. Again, it's that processing speed you need to bring to the table.
As the sun comes out here, Denver hoping the sun will come out on their offense, which has been really dormant since the very beginning of this game. Man-up situation here. Going to get a shot on goal, though. Take advantage of it. Even strength as Denver kills the penalty, and now Hanna can't control the pass, and just another turnover.
Nicely done. Ground ball in the crossfield pass.
7th turnover for the Pios against just 2 for North Carolina.
Strong fundamentals from the Heels here. And I mean, this is an opening game, Chris, early February. Really impressed with how clean they've been in some of the finer subtleties and nuances of the sport.
Trippy behind the cage. You saw Lance Tillman in the game, 0 for North Carolina. Here's Tillman up front. Misses the mark. These teams are so deep, Q, with the seniors coming back, the transfers coming in, and then this freshman class as well. We're talking about 60, 61 players on both of these teams. Tillman, he'll shoot. French is there. For the loose ball, won by Colin Squires.
Nice play by Squires. Denver's best D-man.
Walker doesn't have the numbers, so Denver will look to set up. Quickly, but going down to make the save is Colin Krieg. And a nice outlet pass.
That's smooth.
Forced save for Colin Krieg, the freshman, left-handed goaltender, getting the start today for Caton Johnson. If you're just tuning in, Caton Johnson, North Carolina celebrated junior goaltender. Still dealing with some quarantine issues. He's out of quarantine, but just not in really great game shape, according to Joe Bresci, because he hadn't practiced. He had to take so much time off from practice early on in the season, so wants to really work him and make sure he's in the optimal game shape, and he feels confident with Colin Krieg, and now, Q, we're seeing why he feels so confident with him.
Yeah, that last save, rebound control, and outlet was really smooth.
That's smooth. 4th of the day for number 4.
Zone offense, draw and dump, get the defense spinning on the carousel. Gunmetal, Gray.
In the West Coast Conference. Roy Williams and Coach Bresci, you know, Coach Bresci had a lot of great things to say about the Carolina basketball coach. He put so much financially, emotionally, into the other sports at North Carolina. He believes it's so important for the institution as a whole that we play, these spring sports, men's and women's sports. It's important for the student athletes, and he himself spent $600,000, Coach Williams, of his own money to ensure that if seniors from last spring wanted to come back and play this year, that they'd be able to do that.
$600K donated to spring sports athletes.
Amazing.
It wasn't widely reported. It was a little piece in ESPN.com, I believe, but that is beyond generous. That is incredible.
They're playing this game in Kenan Stadium and talked about how they're having to share facilities because of the way sports are played. So the Heels will play some of their lacrosse games at this stadium. And
I think most really, Chris, because soccer is now a spring sport in the ACC. You got men's and women's soccer. You got men's and women's lacrosse. They got to spread out the locker room facilities. They got to spread around the practice fields and the playing surfaces as well. So they're doing their best to spread everybody out. Coach Bresch likes Kenan. I mean, he likes it. It's right. Their locker room is basically in this facility.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer Dorrance Field. I think it's a gorgeous new lacrosse soccer-only facility in the ACC.
Right, perfect size. Perfect size for lacrosse stadium.
Yeah, bigger isn't always better when it comes to lacrosse and stadiums.
Trippy just working on his defender. Can't quite find a crease. In front, and a goal. Jacob Kelly second for North Carolina, and they extend their lead in this dominance in this morning's game.
Jacob Kelly can play without the ball. You'll see a left-handed cut, 9 and white. Defense is ball watching. Their head's not on a swivel. Little push by Perry left-handed. Kelly follows him. He fills the vacancy or the bubble there that the defense has created, the soft spot. He presents a visual target. Lacrosse is a visual sport. Show your stick to your teammate. Or put it on the target. It was a nice pass and finish.
Tyre back at the dot, taking on Stathakis. Loose ball picked up by Connor Marr. A rare turnover mistake by North Carolina this morning. Haven't seen very many of them. Denver has not made them pay for the few mistakes that they've made. And loose
Bowen
ball,
made the
beautiful. We'll get a whistle here. Let's see what the call is.
White slash 1 minute. 1 white.
Slash against Trippy, so he'll have a seat for a minute inside the box.
Attackmen love to take chunks of defenders' wrists, forearms, and elbows when riding.
Is it like payback? Is that what the mentality is?
Absolutely.
And they know that the defenders aren't padded up on their arms as much as the attackmen are. Walker's 0 for 6 shooting on the day. This certainly would be an opportunity with a minute man up. Rectify that. Ball doesn't even get to the cage as it's hit by a defender. Evan Egan took that one.
Yeah, snappy ball movement. Everything but the shot.
That'll leave a mark on Evan Egan, but I'm sure he'll take it. Get possession back to his team. Try to run off this 1 minute man down situation.
Yeah, 22 and white, Evan Egan, San Diego, California. Torrey Pines, defender, hurt in the High Point scrimmage last year before the 2020 season. Played in 9 games in 2019. He's a major upgrade. Gives them 3 down below. I think we're seeing Bowen as a starter. You're going to see Evan Egan as a starter. Sean Morris is their third guy. So that's an improved unit.
got a transfer from BU as well, and Colin Lawhead, who's a starter for the Terriers, so experience as a backup on that close defense line too.
5-on-5, top of your screen, you see the hangman situation.
Carolina killed off the penalty at full strength here. That shot doesn't get to the cage, but that one does. French is there to make the stop.
Excellent anticipation by Cole French. Low release from the shooter to a low location. He's all over it. He smothered it.
5 seconds to clear for Denver, and they do just that.
Great clear.
Take a look at the save.
Here's the save. Here's the save. Watch how the shooter kind of telegraphs. Low to low. I mean, that's not great placement. French was there, though. He moves his feet. He gets in position. Square to the shooter.
Morrill shut off. Now he's going to try the other side. Gets free. Again, shot doesn't quite get to the cage.
These
still
guys
flying.
are rough.
And there's Creed coming out to pick up the loose ball. Pass too high, though, and it could have been an opportunity for Denver.
Ooh.
Delayed call against North Carolina. Hutchko looking to work down the alley. Slide comes. Now Morrill has a shorty on him. Can he take advantage? Now that slide comes. Double team. Someone's got to be open. Can they move it quickly enough? Hutchko decides not to shoot. Here's Walker. He's got the shorty on. Denver being patient. Slide comes to dislodge it. Now we'll get the penalty.
White 23, hold, 30 seconds. White 23, hold.
Parker Alexander. The
Watch this headlock.
Just long enough to get the call on Squires.
Parker
0 for
from
4
Dallas.
man up today. Yeah, 1 for 7 against Duke, so struggling a little bit in this area is Bill Tierney and this Pios team. Just under a minute left to go in this first half. Gee, we know a lot can change in this game, but if you're Bill Tierney, and Matt Brown, the associate head coach, offensive coordinator for Denver, what's your message right now? Are you trying to get small victories here, a small victory in this last minute to bring some momentum into the locker room?
Yeah, I'd anticipate that Coach Tierney and Coach Brown are saying, hey, do what we've been practicing, do what we're asking you to doing. That's playing within the scheme, within the framework of our offense. But let's start making some plays, okay? So as you get comfortable, you become a playmaker within the scheme. It's not the time to reinvent things and go rogue. So stay within the scheme, be confident, be a playmaker, and we're just looking for little victories. Like that last possession, Chris, I thought was an inch away. So you had a dodge, you drew a double, you got to spin, and then it either needs to be a step in and a shot or a redodge. Like they're an inch away offensively to being what they're going to be. This is only game 3. They've been practicing for a couple weeks. They've got a giant team of 67. They practice in 2 cohorts. It's 2 separate practices of about 33 or 32 or 34 members. The coaching staff's out on the field for 4.5 hours, okay? They haven't been whole as a team all season, socially distanced. The freshmen really haven't met guys like Ethan Walker and Danny Logan as much as you typically like. So, again, the development, the growth process in 2021 is going to be a little slower. We as fans and as analysts need to understand that. And if you're Coach Tierney, you're looking for small victories here in the next half and 58 seconds.
Piles came out so strong offensively in Koskinen 2 days ago, building that 5-1 early lead at Duke, but they scored 2 goals in the second half of that game, and they've scored 2 goals in almost a half here.
He asked his seniors, do you guys want to go play Duke? Do you want to go play Duke or Carolina? Do you want to go play both? And the seniors, unequivocally, all of them, raised their hand. Coach, we want to play both in one weekend. That's the toughest of tough assignments.
Walker now. 4 seconds on the man up. In front, nice. And a goal. Now that's a nice feed. Walker to Hannah, and Denver back on the board.
Well, Walker proving that he's more than an outside stretch shooter with that gorgeous left-handed release. His eyes are up. Ethan Walker's got tons of career points, more than 200 career points. Known as a shooter, but this skip pass through traffic and through sticks is right on the money. And Hannah's got his, I believe, second goal of the game. Going to be one of the premier midfielders in the Big East, Jack Hannah from Ohio. One of Clark's penny stocks. Kind of an unheralded guy from the Cincinnati area.
Stathakis wins this cleanly to himself from Tyre. So now with 20 seconds to go in this first half, can Denver put another one on the board? Skip pass, and man, Krieg is there.
Clock.
Alexander, will he get a shot off? Bresci just gets hit as he tried to get one in. French was there to thwart any final second attempt by the Tar Heels, but Joe Bresci has to be pleased with his team's performance on both sides of the field. 14-3 at the half. It has been all team. Mac Brown is all in with Carolina sports, not just football, but also in supporting lacrosse and women's field hockey and softball, all the spring sports. Man, these coaches really want to see Carolina succeed in every area of athletics.
Mac used to be terrific friends with, or still is, with Willie Scroggs, former Carolina head coach. But here's how it works, Cotter. If I'm a recruit and I'm on a visit, visits are not exactly happening in this pandemic, but that recruit's brought into Mac's office basically, and I'm sure they do it by Zoom right now. And Mac will talk to a lacrosse recruit about the virtues, the benefits of being a North Carolina Tar Heel. I'm really impressed with the job that Coach Brown has done on the football field. So fast, turnaround.
And they'll certainly be a team to watch with Sam Howell next year.
We're not damaging his field either this year.
No,
unlike
we have footage. We might show you that from a couple of years ago. And right after Mac took the job to come back to North Carolina, Coach Bresci and his Heels and Hopkins decided to tear up his field, something awful. Now they have field turf, so it's a little bit easier to keep it in shape. Underway here in the second half. North Carolina with possession, and Chris Grayo had 4 goals in that first half.
Top of your screen, you see the hangman, the 2 Fogos. So they'll play this out 5-on-5 now. So this is a defensive choice to match feet. Try to run off with the opposing faceoff man.
Given these two teams, does 5-on-5 benefit one or the other?
The offense. More space.
2 Fogos now run off, and a goal. That's Anderson. That's his second of the day.
This is a zippy release and a strike to the top shelf. Catch, pro hop, half a cradle. Watch how quick in a stick, boom, gone. Not a long, slow, protracted release. It's a snappy release. Makes it tough for the goaltender to find the ball in your pocket, off the lip, and in the air. Justin Anderson, talked about him earlier, 25-year-old from Las Vegas.
Carolina extending their lead early. Stathakis, and Andrew Tyre have had a nice battle at that face-off dot all day. Tyre wins this one. Possession back to Denver. Brian Cameron now setting things up. He'll move to X and...
Yeah, Gray might be done. Oh, here he is. Be interesting to see some personnel now. A couple guys we haven't seen. Cole Herbert, midfielder.
Yeah, that's a good point. Herbert, number 6, first time we've really called his number all day.
Here he is, yep.
Back to Gray at X. Up front, and O'Connell. Ryan O'Connell firing it wide, stays with Carolina.
Gray can attack from behind the wing or even up top.
Back behind the cage. That's Tillman. Check that, William Perry. Inverted. No, it was Tillman. My bad. O'Connell.
Man-to-man defense from Denver. Played a lot of zone in the first half.
Here's Tillman firing, and French is there. For those of you who are just joining us, Jack Thompson started in goal for Denver, and Bill Tierney pulled him after, I think it was 4 goals.
Oh, trouble,
this one's heading toward the cage, and it's going to be a score. Everything going Carolina's way today.
We had one of these on Friday. A goal that we've never seen, we've never called. Look at this. Gray, ball on the carpet. Watch, swipe. Defender gooses it back to the goal. But the he's come out to support. This is the right play by Cole French. This is just an unfortunate flick by the Denver Pioneers. Are you kidding me? Grab that.
Veteran.
That is the meme for this doubleheader road trip from the Pioneers.
Gray will get credit for the goal, and Colin Squires. I mean, it's just been that kind of a day for Denver. Graduate student, one of the team captains of this team. Just not working for him. Everything going right for Carolina, with the exception of French, who's been pretty good in goal. I was mentioning that before that goal went in. The French took over for Thompson after Thompson gave up 4 goals that weren't really bad goals to give up. It's just Tierney wanted to make a change, but French has been pretty good in that, despite the offensive onslaught from Carolina in front of him.
I like the body language that we're seeing from Cole French. He's faced an onslaught. He's remained positive and aggressive.
Too many men on the field for North Carolina, so it'll go back to Denver.
Regardless of how things are going as a goaltender, you got to remain visibly positive to your teammates. In lacrosse, if you're a defender and you don't have confidence in your goalie, you got problems on defense. So maintaining that air of confidence, critical for young goalies.
He's made 7 saves in this game. Been solid in the face of 36 shots taken by North Carolina so far. We're just a little over halfway through this game.
Nice D.
Kotler. Double team comes, but he works his way through it. Just couldn't quite pull the trigger. Walker has been bottled up all day. Hanna behind the back.
Great cut by Jack Hanna. He saw the double team. Walker got double teamed. The defense then is in their recovery phase. They're vulnerable. He flash cuts the crease. He's open. Nearly pulls off a miraculous shot.
Creed gets credit for the save on that one, so we'll get a fresh 80 for Denver.
Lefty, Kotler is 34.
Morrill defended by Egan. Did a nice job on Jackson Morrill today. Does get topside and beats Creed. Announcer's curse on that one.
I was going to say announcer's jinx. The defense wasn't bad. It was a perfect shot. You see 22 in white, Evan Egan working over Morrill, though he able to get his stick topside and his hands free. using the body, posting up. Only issue there with 22 on defense is as that shooter gets his stick upfield, you want to match that stick on stick. And there is Jackson Morrill, the brilliant career he had for Andy Shea at Yale, now a graduate student out in the Mile High City.
You played with his dad, Mike, at Hopkins?
Yeah, from 3 generations of Hall of Famers. Mike was a self-made player. Continued to improve throughout his college career and then beyond in club and then representing Team USA. Flirted with getting in coaching while I think he was in graduate school up at Penn. But he's got his wife is a former player at Dartmouth, and they've got a family full of college players, both boys and girls.
Hannah did a great job catching that pass. Now the slide comes.
Better ball movement and spacing from Denver in the second half.
Hannah now with Alexander checking in. Can he take advantage? Back
He's
to
got
his
to.
left.
He's got to draw a double team.
And he does. Can they make anything out of it? Blair initially drops the pass, gets it back. Walker. He puts it on the carpet. Sullivan is there, though, to keep possession for the Pios. Skip pass. Blair will shoot this one. Krieg makes the stop.
Wow, Krieg made that look easy. I mean, that was from tight range.
Moving across the goal mouth, too. Eight saves for Krieg. His back check to dislodge the ball and into French's cross. He'll look to strike quickly. Now we get a call. Was waiting for the flag. Saw it flying in. This will go against the heel, so a delayed call against North Carolina. Morrill. Offensive midfield coming on. Big shot by Sullivan. Gets deflected out. Walker quickly up front. Big rip by Kotler. Stays with Denver. Now we'll get the call.
Much better in the second half from Denver's offense. Spacing, tempo, and crisp passes. Getting decent ball reversal.
Number 21. White 21, trip, 1 minute. White 21, trip, 1 minute.
Call against Justin Anderson. Yeah, I didn't see it there, but Denver has not had a lot of success man up, really, at the start of this season, these last 2 games. And Krieg goes down and makes the save. Battle, race for it, just won by Denver to the end line. Morrill. Walker up top. These two just probing this defense. Hannah tried to get it on goal, cannot.
Nice D by that group. You got 4 poles and a shorty. 31. Connor Mars, a shorty for Carolina on their man down. And that's something for your high school player, you want to play man down defense if you're a midi. I mean, I know college coaches.
Long pass and a goal. French came out to try and play the ball that ended up in the cross of Chris Gray, and he had an easy goal once he got past the Denver goaltender.
This is a walking tide, a living walking tide commercial for laundry detergent.
Things
back
are
when dinosaurs roamed the earth, they actually played in mud. That field,
different.
okay? So that grass field gets replaced by this sport grass, this field surface. Guess where that grass ends up, Cotter? You know the answer, but that
went
grass
right down
now
the road.
is at Koskinen Stadium at Duke. That's not sacrilege?
Depends on how you look at it. I'm sure Danowski says, yeah, well, we get to trample on North Carolina's grass every day. So they have their way of looking at it. Either way, from the looks of things, it's not going to be fun to play in Koskinen, in Keenan, any of these ACC stadiums this year. We haven't even talked about Syracuse. They'll open up in 2 weeks, I believe. Notre Dame a little bit later on. But you've had an opportunity to see North Carolina, Virginia yesterday, Duke on Friday. All three very impressive to start the year.
That's all it is. It's week 1. But we can look under the hood a little and start to gauge what kind of power they have, how the parts look. Memorial Day's a long way away, especially this year. There's going to be stops, there's going to be starts. You got to test negative to stay in the game.
Yeah, there are going to be a lot of things unexpected that pop up this year. Gray fired. French is there, but the rebound comes right into the cross of McCarthy, and he buries it.
McCarthy fits in. He scored in the first quarter. This is his second of the game, playing inside right here. Watch his reaction to the initial shot. He crashed the goal. Beat your defender, get inside position like a rebound in hockey. Goaltenders have to work on their rebound control. Last year, or 2 years ago in 19, Chris, I did a chart of NCAA tournament playoff games. There was at least one rebound goal in nearly every game. So that's 5 to 10% of the overall goals are coming on rebounds. Important for offensive and defensive personnel and goaltenders to understand that. Get inside position and be physical.
Yeah, second goal of the day, as you mentioned, the Princeton transfer.
Princeton was loaded last year. The whole Ivy League was loaded last year. Really a shame that they lost their 2020 season, and then what's going on now, it's really horrible for those young student athletes.
We've got Kotler and Morrill from Yale playing in this game for Denver. T.D. Erlin is in the transfer portal, announced his intention to transfer to Denver. If he does so, could be eligible by the end of March. That was off the pipe. Krieg turned around to see where it ended up, and it ended up almost near midfield.
Notre Dame picked up Kyle Gallagher. Kyle Thornton.
Yeah, a couple of good
starter.
Penn.
Should be 2 starters.
So it still remains to be seen if we'll get individual teams from the Ivy. The Ivy just...
Oh, yes! No, yes!
Go in. Let's see if the officials call it a goal. It is. So it hit the top part, inside the post.
Okay, the entire ball has to cross the goal line. A double pipe is not a goal. When the ball's on the goal line, it's not a goal. The entire ball must go past the goal line. You make the call. Looks like I saw the net move there.
Yeah, near side official came in.
He's got a good angle. That's Miko Red Arrow, I believe.
It is, and he made the call decisively.
Because that ball's going so slow, it's kind of tough to see. In terms of the net moving, if you're looking for a reaction from the net, because there's not much oomph behind the shot.
Violation for Stathakis. Sullivan gets credit for the goal. French goes up to make a great save. That was point blank.
This is trouble.
9 saves for French on the day. Pios do a nice job with the clear. Still not out of the clear, or in the clear, I should say, yet.
Yeah, Bowen, 24, plays free safety on that ride. He's like a free runner up by the midfield line. He's the designated double man. Good luck with that, man. All kinds
of issues, over and back. North Carolina's just pestering Denver on that ride. Camera goes over the top. Nick J.P. Solomon, a couple of goals in this game. Double team comes. Tried to feed it up top. Cannot. Ball stays on North Carolina's half temporarily. Here comes Ethan Walker. Players got to be open up front. Krieg is there. Now the rebound and a gorgeous little scoop shot that time. Finding the back of the net.
Carolina's offense has kind of lost some of its rhythm. Ty Badone, the junior from Austin, Texas. Morrow picks a good time to try to curl top side, and then all of a sudden the backside is vacant. What were we talking about earlier? Rebounds.
Unnecessary roughness call, so goal stands, and Denver.
Yeah, Bastione, first goal. Getting some PT. I think there's some midfield spots for Denver still to be determined. You know, outside of Teddy Sullivan and Hannah and Kotler, I think the next group is very much guys are auditioning for playing time, and Bastione's goal there goes a long way.
Well, they're without Alex Simmons and Ellis Geis, Wiley Curtis. A number of players not playing in this game from that midfield spot for Denver. So opportunities, to your point, Q, for others to shine, especially in a game like this. Ooh, that's a big shot. Great. That's number 5, 6 on the season, on the day.
Face-off loose ball. Yeah, Marr comes up with a 31. He's played a strong game. He's a really, really good short stick defensive midi. Puts a perfect pass on the stick of Chris Gray, which allows Gray to get all of his body behind it. And then the pass was so perfect. Just like the rhythm shooter in basketball, Chris, when you call games, that pass, if it hits you where you want it, you're just so much more in flow in terms of your release.
And French is coming across. He just can't even see it until he hears it hit the back of the net.
It's on you fast. It's not like Chris is showing you that shot, right?
That's 7 for Gray on the day.
Where he left off last year. He was a 7-point-a-game guy. Did he score 8 goals or something against Hopkins? He had some kind of monstrous game that day.
Chris Kluche holds the school record, 9 goals in a game. So that is certainly in play here for Chris Gray at the 3:15 mark of this third quarter. You got to think, Q, if the score stays at 19-6 for any period of time, that Chris Gray might not see the field a whole lot there in that fourth quarter. As Coach Bresci would look to his bench and get some playing time here in the opener for his Heels this year.
Zone defense from Denver.
Easy score for Ryan O'Connell.
Left-handed bouncer. Watch how he puts this to the near pipe. Uses the screen. That's a perfect shot. That's a really tough stop for a goaltender to make when a lefty in that spot pulls it to that short side pipe down low.
Senior from New Canaan.
I'm enjoying watching Carolina's bench and their celebrations. Like that in itself, it's got me really happy, Chris, just to see these guys out there emotionally.
It's been a long time since we've seen lacrosse. It's been a long time since you and I have called a lacrosse game. It's been a long time since these guys have played in a lacrosse game. He's a relief.
Medicine game in a lot of ways for these young men to get out there, run around. A apply their craft, play with creativity, physicality, to be on a team, and then to have emotions, to have success, failure, to have, moments of jubilation, moments of
the back.
That's what this game's about. That's what this game has offered these athletes, and I'm so happy we're playing in 2021.
Jake Ettinger will be guilty of the push in the back with possession, so.
And Jake, sophomore from Tully, he actually got some significant PT against Duke the other day. He's, again, one of those second line middies. There's a bunch of them at Denver, whether it's Erickson, Edinger, Bassione, Dwinnell, Hutchko.
Well, the one area in this game that I should say North Carolina has not had a lot of success is man up, 0 for 7 so far.
They were 17 of 22 in 7 games last year, so that's
the upset of the day.
Yeah.
All right, Metsy, there's something to work on.
Russ took the over, and it's clearly going to be an under.
I don't know. Here we go. Oh, Anderson almost behind the back, almost ended that drought beautifully.
Got to thank our stat man, Rustin Lynn, working virtually from Edgewater, Maryland. He and his dog helping us out.
Up front, that's a good opportunity. Couldn't get a lot on it. Now here's the second chance. Trippy just, again, defensively preventing him, putting enough mustard on it.
That is the definition of a buddy pass.
Denver gets away with it, though. Squires brings it into Skylar Blair. Question mark off the pipe. Still a loose ball in front. Bowen comes away with it.
Nice
Great
play.
pass. Amazing pass. Denver now off and running. Quickly and a goal.
Wow.
That was gorgeous. Nicky Solomon finished it. But lightning passing on the clear, and it ends up in the back of the net.
This is one of the traits of a lacrosse game that's so fun to watch. Bowen comes up with the ground ball while being triple teamed. Gets his eyes up and delivers a strike. Tic-tac-toe. That ball matriculates down the field for a layup. I mean, that is a gorgeous, fast break team goal by the Heels.
Hat trick for the suburban Atlanta native, Nicky Solomon. 21-6. Football score on this football field.
Clock.
22 seconds left in this third quarter. Piles will look for an opportunity. Ball gets away from Hannah briefly. Now he picks it back up. 10 seconds. Ball hits the defender on the way to the goal. Bounces high up in the air. It'll be a shot. It'll go to Carroll. It'll stay with Denver. I'm surprised at that, but 1.6 seconds left. It's not much time for anything to happen. Ball sails harmlessly out of bounds. Applause from Joe Bresci. His Heels are off and running in 2021. 21 Super Bowl. Zach Schreiner, face-off man for Siena about 10 years ago. Now the long snapper for the Buccaneers.
It's a story of having a dream and pursuing it. Gave up the sport of lacrosse at Siena. Became a long snapper. He's kicked around the NFL for a bunch of years. It's not his first stop, Chris, and finally got an opportunity and made it stick. And congratulations. Get to see him later.
Long snapping is kind of like facing off, don't you think? Because you just have, this is your one craft. Perfect it.
Perfect it. The mental challenges, the quest for perfection.
Schreiner's showing you can have a long career in the NFL if you're good at it. You know, like we work with Trevor Matic, same thing. Trevor Matic was just so amazing at snapping the football. Here you go. He played 14 years in the league.
Highly specialized profession.
Caleb Stroman now in goal for Denver. And Caden Johnson now getting some look for North Carolina. So here we go, Q. At least an opportunity for Joe Bresci to get Johnson in the game, get him some game minutes, and trying to work him into shape. And a long-distance goal as Stroman was out of position, and it ends up a goal. And we've seen him in pretty much every way, shape, or form for North Carolina today. And O'Connell gets the hat trick from midfield.
O'Connell, New Canaan, Connecticut, capitalizing on the 10-man. Again, you practice against the 10-man every day. Carolina does it themselves, so you become very accustomed to making the correct turn against pressure, looking cross-field, looking cross-diagonal, looking deep to the attackman. You're also communicating where's the goalie, how far out is he? And then as a goaltender, you always want to go halfway. If that guy with the ball turns and fires it at the goal, I've got to be able to get there and make that save. If in doubt, protect the goal, let the attackman get the deep pass. It's kind of like a single high safety, and you got two wide receivers coming at you, like which guy do I cover? You can't win. You hope to be equidistant.
6 players for the Heels now have multiple goals on the day. Blair. Both coaches now going to their benches, getting some players some playing time.
Carolina's defense on the perimeter has been very good today from the midfielders and from their close D.
That was Lawhead, transfer from BU, picked up the ground ball. Here's Bresci.
Denver's not going to be the speediest team, but Carolina's held up their end of the bargain with matchups.
What a catch, and a goal! Parker Alexander with a one-handed stab on the pass, and then he finished it off.
Senior from Dallas, Texas. Trippy's eyes are up.
Oh.
Nice catch on the pellets. You see the pellets spraying. Carolina's shooting's been mid-season form. I mean, it's high velocity, good areas, mixing things up. They continue to invent ways to score in this game, whether it's riding, rebounds, 6-on-6 unassisted, 6-on-6 passing goals. There's been a little bit of everything. It's been very impressive from a variety standpoint.
10th different Tar Heel to score a goal in this game. You see the flag. It's going to be on the Denver bench. And Bill Tierney is letting this officiating crew hear it. Just the end of a frustrating trip down Tobacco Road for Bill Tierney in Denver. And Q, I think that's a point of conversation here in this fourth quarter is what makes it a successful trip? What can they do anything here in this last 12 minutes and 51 seconds to go home with something in their quiver from this trip here to North Carolina?
Well, Coach T's the best in the business for a reason. You know, he's got, 7 NCAA championships. He will find a way. He'll find the positives. He will find the positives. He's done it for back dating to 1982 when he was the head coach at RIT. Prior to that, he was a high school coach on Long Island. Nobody's done it better than Bill Tierney. He'll turn this 2-loss trip into a positive. You know, I wonder the logistics of this pandemic. Chris, as I mentioned earlier, they have 2 separate teams practicing right now with a 67-man roster. 2 cohorts, 2 separate practices. You know, he'll evaluate everything. Are we doing it the right way? Are we doing it the safe way? Are we doing it the way that's most beneficial for our lacrosse team? And he will scrutinize every detail, personnel-wise, their process. He's got a great staff with Matt Brown. They'll figure it out, and they'll move forward off of this trip.
Off the pipe. Back to the Pios. Kyle Smith will look to clear.
Carolina's unselfishness stood out last year. Number 4 in the country in scoring, but they led the country last year in assists per game.
And that right there is Ethan Walker's first goal of the day, and I'm sure you would have been surprised, Q, if I'd have told you it was coming at 11:41 in the fourth quarter.
Great left-handed shooter is Ethan Walker. I spoke to him on Wednesday from the 705, Chris, the 705, Peterborough, town of John Grant Jr., Zach Currier, played at Culver, decided to take the 5th year to get his master's degree in marketing, and much of it is online. Says his life is online right now. His groceries are delivered online. There's no going to restaurants or bars. This is a team that practices with their masks on. And I said, Ethan, what's it like practicing lacrosse with a mask on? He says, it's gross. It's gross. Number one, you're exercising. Number two, you got a mouthpiece on as well. How do you talk with a mouthpiece and a mask at practice while breathing at altitude? But, Ethan's a future pro, I believe, both for the PLL outdoors and indoors. He's going to be a star in the indoor league.
And a tough angle shot.
Do you lift weights with your mask on, Cotter? I mean, it's hard to lift weights.
Yeah.
No, it's very difficult.
I mean,
you get tired.
And you might think that just lifting is not cardio, but for me it is. That is a strenuous cardiovascular exercise, just picking something up and putting it down. So, yeah, the mask will be very difficult.
And not dropping it on your face?
Correct. I got to worry about that as it is. Hannah finds the back.
Hannah's perked up today.
Success for Denver. Yeah.
Yeah, Jack Hannah's perked up today. He struggled against Duke on Friday. 0 for 9 shooting. You can see what he can do. That wing is his home. And a short stick's not going to cover him. He's not going to beat you with blazing speed, but he can get to edges and using his big frame. Who is he, 6'3", 205?
Yeah, you see how he got knocked off his line there a little bit, but was still able to get enough on the shot.
I like what I'm seeing from him today. He's answered. He's doing his job with a hat trick.
Denver looking to take something out of this fourth quarter back home with them. They've got Air Force. They'll make the short drive up I-25 to Peter Barton in Denver next weekend.
Stathakis wins the draw, but kind of loses the battle there as he's double teamed.
Ball still loose near midfield.
That's a nice grounder.
Bresci will try and track it down before the sideline and does. Keeps it in play, but this is going to go to the end line and it'll be Denver ball.
Stroman, the junior goalie from Parker, Colorado. It's a roster of 67, I said earlier. They've got 7 goalies.
You got the seniors coming back. You got transfers coming in. You got the freshman class coming in. With that said, too, Q, 20 players on this Denver roster from the state of Colorado.
Yeah, 18 states. 5 from Canada. And let's hope that this trip, their return and then testing next week without issues, I think it would be big for everybody in this sport to see that a trip like this, a doubleheader, is possible.
Tough angle shot and a goal for Jacob Kelly.
Kelly's played a strong game off the bench, hasn't he?
Yeah, give him a hat trick.
He's been really opportunistic in terms of points per minute. Great without the ball. You know, he had that hamstring issue last year, was it, that kind of kept him on the sidelines. So often when I travel to Chapel Hill through Baltimore, through Southwest, you see so many of these guys like Kelly and his family. You'll share flights, and he comes from really the first family of Carolina lacrosse in the last decade. And there's been a dozen Kellys to wear the Carolina blue.
Heck of a job that time by Bowen, dislodging it from Hannah and then picking up the ground ball. Carolina looks like they may turn it back over, though, and they do.
Nice.
Johnson saw it all the way. Outlets it to Alexander.
No push.
Yeah, no push in the back.
Time.
5 seconds to clear it. Gilman pass almost works out for him. And it will.
Good awareness by Carolina. They were aware of the clock, Chris. That's art of communication. Starts at the bench. All your calls start at the bench. They're echoed across the field.
Clock ticking down to the final 8 minutes in this one, a game that has been dominated by North Carolina really from the jump.
Zone, no rush.
TJ Zinsser. Zinsser on the field now for North Carolina, number 44. Coach Bresci going to his bench.
They throw the ball hard. Coach Metzbauer always emphasizes, throw the ball with some pace. Catchable, but it's got to get there. Look at these passes on the money.
Just a programming note. Florida State, Miami, women's basketball on ESPN News right now. So if you've tuned in looking for that game, just tune over to ESPN News and we'll move it over here to ESPNU as soon as we conclude our lacrosse game here between Denver and North Carolina. Hannah, nice feed in front. Skylar Blair finishes it off as Hannah saw him cutting. Denver doing some good things here in the fourth quarter. 24-9, Carolina on top. Sensational today, Q. 7 goals. Throwing an assist for good measure.
BU transfer a year ago, averaged 7 points a game, and you see a little bit of everything. Whether it's a transition goal, a feet set shot, a great assist, a snappy release, man. He gets that ball out. Does a little bit of everything. I love the versatility and the depth of his skill set. He's made this Carolina team so much stronger. 7-0 last year, and they're off to an amazing start today.
A lot of hats on the field here at Keenan. 4 players with at least 3 goals for North Carolina. 10 players scoring goals on the day. That number may go up as Hannah gets another one.
It's a good finish for Jack Hannah. 2-time All-American out of Ohio, but minimal college interest. Richmond, Ohio State. I think the Buckeyes tried to hide him because they knew how good he was. But he ended up going to a camp in Denver. Bill Tierney spotted him. There he is, Cincy area.
Good outdoor player, as you mentioned, high school box lacrosse player. Good
really
space.
blossomed last year.
He's a tank.
He's a tank, and he can, he gets edges on you. He doesn't blow by you with eye-catching speed, but he creates angles, and all of a sudden he wins the physical confrontation and can shoot with pressure, can shoot through contact.
Kotler picks up a goal, and Denver showing some life here in this final stanza in Keenan.
It's emblematic of their head coach, who's a fighter, Bill Tierney. And you see that from their veterans now. Hannah's played a good quarter. Kotler maybe didn't have the greatest first half. He too, from a character standpoint, you think about Kotler and Morrill and guys like Walker and Hannah. They'll be the solution finders of this team. Danny Logan as well, 19. It's the other guys they have to find.
Brett Bowes taking some draws for Denver. Hannah leading the way with 4 goals today for the Pios. 7 different players have scored for Bill Tierney.
Romo Duke at 4 on ACC Network, right?
Yeah, interesting to see how Duke responds a couple of days after their big come-from-behind win against Denver. And Robert Morris is not bad.
Big Ten schedule's being released this week. Hearing that UMass, campus-wide, is going to have to shut it down, so their game Saturday against Army is still in question. We'll see. Virginia and Lars Tiffany, he's looking for a game next weekend. I would love to be the matchmaker. Army, meet Virginia. You're getting married next Saturday. If you have to, do a neutral. Each one drive halfway. Played in Delaware, Southern Jersey, perhaps.
Yeah, you can do it somewhere in the Philadelphia area.
Be a good matchup for the players. We've got to be flexible this year. Got to be flexible. Agile and flexible. But we'll see. You know, it's a week at a time, Chris. With the players, it's day at a time. Test negative. Put yourself in position to go out and practice that week. Test negative on game day, you get to play and represent your school. And then you start over. You hit reset. Nothing carries over.
Heels just dumping the ball as the shot clock winds down. Hugh, you know this coaches hate it when everything seems to be going right for you because you got to work on something. What's Bresci, Metzbauer, Hunter Stein, that coaching staff, what are they working on this week after this game?
Ooh.
Tough to find something, huh?
Yeah, helmet size. You got to shrink the helmet size.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of those. Real positive. I mean, real positive start. They'll nitpick the film.
North Carolina's got Jacksonville next Saturday at home on the ACC Network. 6 o'clock, they'll face that one off. Wide open in front. That's an easy goal for Jackson Morrill.
Subdued celebration.
It's Journey said it even himself this week. The attitude that the seniors have to instill in the younger players, even though they haven't had a whole lot of contact with them because of COVID, this year is we expect to win championships at Denver, rather.
Yeah, it's a collegiate experience this year for these young men that, you know, you make it through, man, I got so much respect for these guys. The discipline it's going to take, the sacrifice, the sense of team, what these families are going through. You know, some games you can go to, maybe you can get 2 tickets, see your child play. After the game, you got to be careful. You know, many of them are watching this game at home right now. They would love to be in Chapel Hill tailgating. You know, it's part of the experience. For this year, we got to adjust, you know. And just be happy to be out competing and playing the game that we all love.
Walker now back up top. Pass goes Wanning. Stays with the Pios. Still 30 shoot. Sam Dwinnell getting some playing time at that midfield spot. Michael Lampert in the game now. Number 2 with the ball in his cross. Loses it. Bowen. Back up to Johnson. Carolina will look to clear. 3 minutes left to go. Miami, Florida State women's hoops going on right now over on ESPN News. As soon as we wrap things up here, we'll move it over to ESPNU for the rest of it in its entirety. As Q said, Robert Morris, Duke, coming up at 4 o'clock on the ACC Network.
And we got the Super Bowl. Evan Washburn, former lacrosse player at Delaware, working his 3rd Super Bowl as a reporter. He's a great defender for Delaware. Good lacrosse coverage guy, and congratulations to Evan once again.
Yeah, big assignment.
He's repping.
Fun. Could be a fun game. A lot of points being scored today as well. team has ever scored as much as 17 goals against the Bill Tierney coached Denver team until today. It's 24.
I mean,
Current moment, Caleb Stroman trying to keep it that way in net for the Pios.
6 titles at Princeton, and they got it rolling in basically 1990, their first championship in 1992. The first 2, 88 and 89 at Princeton, they may have some lopsided goals, differentials. But scoring 24 against Tierney, man, you're going to have to dig deep in the history books. This is the ultimate outlier in terms of that total. Both differential 12 and goals against.
Walker had a brief opening and made Denver pay. Slide came, it was just a little bit too late. Walker had a little opening and took advantage of it.
He's got that gorgeous lefty release. Worked on his golf game during the quarantine, and you see that carry over into his shooting motion, Chris. That torque from the hips and the ability to turn and use the width of your shoulders and just the fluidity that he's got is it's a thing of beauty.
Good hands. All great lacrosse players, hockey players, golfers, good hands, supple wrists. Final minute of play here from Keenan.
1 minute. 1 minute remaining.
In a day that started overcast, a little bit of rain, turned out to be a relatively pretty day. A little chilly, but the sun is out, shining on the Tar Heels today. And back to the drawing board for Bill Tierney and company as they head back to Denver. They've got Air Force next week inside Peter Barden.
Friday was Duke. Saturday we got to see Virginia. Today it was all about the Carolina Tar Heels. The ACC this season loaded. Look out. Going to be a lot of fun.
As I described it in a preview I did for the year, Q, it's a Pierce Sixer every single game.
That was a great preview, Cotter. Your Instagram, that was next level. Thanks for bringing that up. I was thinking about that today. You did an awesome job with that.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
It was great. It was next level. Did you do that yourself?
Yeah, the folks at the ACC Network did a great job helping us out with that one. 24-13, our final. The ACC is off and running in 2021. Duke, Virginia, and today North Carolina. Very impressive start. For Quinn Kesnick and our entire crew, I'm Chris Cotter.